Hey everyone, it's Mel again from Archex Studio. Today from the Evasion team, we've got Fran Gollin, our art director.
Hi, Mel.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're responsible for?
My name is Fran Gollin. I'm the art director for Evasion. And basically, I'm responsible for the visual art direction. So basically, my responsibilities are to supervise all the amazing and talented people that will eventually bring that vision to life.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. What inspired you to become an art director for video games, and what else have you worked on?
Okay, well, a little bit about my background. I started out in advertising, and I did that for about 20 years, and that's basically where I learned, I guess, the psychology and science maybe around communication. But after a number of years, I decided to give that up. I didn't want to work for evil corporations anymore. I wanted to use my power for good. So I got attracted to video games, and that was basically how I started my career. In terms of inspiration, for me, horror, sci-fi, and all those cool genres were just, amazing to me. And I kind of rediscovered that with video games. So immediately wanted to get into the industry. I got really, really lucky. In my career, I worked on Mass Effect, the first one, as a concept artist. I then moved on to Dragon Age, and then I moved here to Vancouver and worked on the Dead Rising series. So that's basically a genre trifecta of sci-fi, fantasy, and horror. So, I mean, it was terrific. I've been really, really lucky.
So for Evasion, what were some of the things that you and the art team wanted to provide the final player experience? Like when the player takes off the headset, what kind of goals did you have in mind for the visuals that the player could take away with?
That's a great question. I think we agree that what we wanted all players to basically feel is that they had been transported to another place, literally. We wanted them to feel like they're part of this elite vanguard and they're being drop shipped into this, strange world that they never stepped foot on before. We wanted to also make the mining colony, the Faro mining colony, a living, breathing place, some place that had history, that had a sense of place. And that's basically what our goal was.
So you joined a little bit later in the project, and I guess what are some of the intriguing challenges that you had in perfecting the visual language, the characters, the environment?
What the art team was challenged with is how do you create a visual language around basically demonstrating and discerning all these different threats, which are coming at you at 360 degrees. So we had to come up with a visual language for it, but we also use VFX, we use audio, music to set the pacing. The engineers helped. Basically this was a really collaborative effort.
Lighting is obviously super important. What were some of the aspects of lighting that you had to pay attention to, specifically for Evasion?
The horizon, like basically the 2/3 of sky, because we have a lot of flying enemies. So we always wanted to make sure that the player, could see threats as they were coming, and discern where they were coming from. No one likes a cheap shot, and that's always painful when you're playing. The sense of being in a space, physically being there. And this is something, again, being my first VR production, this is something that we really wanted to take advantage of. The team was super talented. They showed me some of the opportunities, and we really leveraged that. So, for example, we had a lot of verticality, again, with flying enemies. We had to keep the space generally clear, but we used things like chlorogen trees and towers to create really interesting parallaxing and occlusion opportunities. And all of that really came together that kind of make you feel again like you're physically on this planet in this space.
So I've been telling the community about the Optera for a while, so tell us about the final look of the Optera and what challenges or inspirations there were for the team.
Originally, they were inspired by Dieselpunk, so we had a little phase where they look like that, or inspired by Dieselpunk. But eventually it settled into this kind of clean, futuristic, sort of functional look that we have today. Obviously they're inspired by insects. You can't really go wrong with that. Nature's been working, has like 1 billion years of evolution in terms of developing insect life. And they're just so alien. They're just a great inspiration. I mean, even their physiology is inside out, so you can't go wrong, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have like a favorite Optera enemy?
Yeah, actually, it's definitely the Megatoma. I think it's really cool looking design. It's the only one that kind of deviates from bug. I think it was inspired by a rhino beetle, hence the name. But I think the thing I like about it is it's big, it's very powerful, but it's kind of slow and clumsy. So it's a bit of a misfit in the Optera lineup. And I think that's kind of endearing to me. So plus he's incredibly difficult to fight. So he's a great challenge. So I love the Megatoma.
So what is it about Evasion that makes it so special and unique amongst the VR sci-fi shooters? Like, what are you and the art team excited to share with the community?
Yeah, I think as a team, what we're really excited about is the very real physical connection you have between your avatar, which you totally embody, and your gun, which really has a weight and feel to it. It has a physical presence. I think the combination of all that is really magic for me anyway. When I experience it, we all play the game all the time. We have to test it, but we're always shouting across the room and talking to each other. And the game is still fun even after these months and months of development. And that's when you really know you have something great.
Thank you so much, friend, for joining us for this Dev Talk series. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook for the latest and greatest news on Evasion at Evasion VR, and our official website is evasionvrgame.com. See you next time.